In Unit 2, we're going to cover ethics and integrity. We're going to talk about suspension and revocation of a dealer's license. We're going to go into dealer insurance, and we're going to start our paper trail here, and we're going to start going through our required documents, including a retail contract. We're going to cover odometer disclosure statements, sales to minors. We'll delve into all of your dealer records. I'm also going to show you there's two really easy ways to operate this business that you're getting ready to open. At the end of every transaction, you can either go down to your BMV office and submit your paperwork there, or I'm going to show you how you can basically operate your dealership completely online. So we'll log on to the dealer portal, and then I'm going to talk about the very important roles and responsibilities of the motor vehicle dealer board. So I always want to remind you that all Ohio dealer licenses must be displayed prominently. When you receive your used motor vehicle dealer's license, it must be displayed prominently. So you do not want to place that license in the back of a desk drawer or a file cabinet. You're going to need to place it on the wall in your office. You know, you worked hard to gain your license. You're going to be very proud of it, and you will need to display it where everyone, including your customers, can see it. If you ever have a surprise inspection from the BMV investigators, they will verify that you have your license displayed conspicuously. So make sure and display your dealer's license prominently. First, I want to cover dealer ethics and integrity. It is imperative that you operate your business with complete integrity and the highest ethical standards at all times. You must follow every state and federal guideline on every transaction, period. If you don't operate strictly under all state and federal regulations, your dealer's license could result in suspension or revocation. And, you know, once you've had a dealer's license revoked, it is time consuming and can be very costly, including legal fees for legal representation and things like that in order to obtain your license back. So being completely honest with every one of your customers is a win-win situation. You're going to build your reputation your very first few weeks in this business, and you must build an ethical reputation. A good, positive selling experience with a customer will lead to more sales to the customer's friends, to their coworkers, and to their family. But a bad negative selling experience will result in customers leaving negative reviews of your dealership all over the internet. It is very easy for your customer to leave negative reviews and comments on Google and Facebook and Twitter and more. And when future customers see those negative reviews, they're not going to purchase vehicles from you. And a bad reputation is nearly impossible to discard. Customers want a dealer they can trust. To maintain your honest reputation, you must offer full disclosure on all vehicles before the sale. Always disclose every minor mechanical malfunction that you're aware of before the test drive. By disclosing everything you know about a vehicle before the test drive, you're going to build an incredible reputation in your area. Unethical dealers can never discard a dishonest reputation. By operating your dealership with complete honesty and the highest ethical standards at all times, you're going to gain an honest reputation that will lead you to many, many more sales than that of a dishonest dealer. So being honest with your customers is a win-win situation. You're going to have the best reputation in your area. You will have the highest profits, and you will be in business for many, many years. Operating your dealership with complete integrity and 100% compliance equals more profits while ensuring your dealer license will never be suspended or revoked. Which leads us to our next subject, reasons for suspension of a dealer's license. When you're granted a dealer's license, the state of Ohio is basically giving you an opportunity to enter a business field that can be quite lucrative. However, you must follow several sets of rules and guidelines. All Ohio used motor vehicle dealers must follow all the laws we discuss in this course, and the BMV basically has zero tolerance for any dealer that does not follow the rules that we discuss in this course. Any dealer that does not comply or follow the rules can have their dealer's license suspended or revoked. And I want to go over the reasons that you could actually have your license suspended or revoked. If a vehicle was sold by someone that's not a licensed salesperson or an owner or officer, so only owners, officers, or licensed salespersons are actually allowed to sell vehicles for you. If you ever pay a commission on a sale of a vehicle that was sold by someone that was not a licensed salesperson, in the past they had bird dog fees where a dealer would pay like $100 to somebody that referred someone else to buy a vehicle. Well, you can no longer do that. You can only pay a commission to either a licensed salesperson or possibly one of your partner or owners. Fail to immediately notify the BMV dealer licensing section upon termination of employment of a licensed salesperson. You have to notify the BMV within 48 hours if you ever terminate a salesperson. I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm going to revise that several times and review that several times through the course. You have to let the BMV know whenever you terminate a salesperson within 48 hours. And I'll show you how easy that is to do here in a little bit. Engage in a wholesale sale to a person that is not currently a licensed motor vehicle dealer. Does not maintain established place of business. So, you can't get your dealer's license and then basically stop opening here in a couple of weeks. You have to maintain all these requirements on a regular basis. Here's an important one. Uses office as storage space. Your office is never to be used as a storage space. Your office is for to be a safe, conducive environment for doing motor vehicle transactions. So the state doesn't want you storing tires and paint and old transmission in your office. It's got to be clear of debris and things like that. Allow dirt, mud, water, weeds, or debris to collect on your display lot. So your display lot has to be free and clear of debris. It has to be a safe place for your customers. Fail to notify the BMV dealer licensing section of a phone number change within 15 days, or if you change your hours, you have to notify the BMV within 15 days, or if you change owners or like a business name, any changes made to your dealer license, you have to notify the BMV within 15 days. And I'll show you how to do that as well. Fails to maintain your $25,000 dealer surety bond during your entire licensure period. So your dealer surety bond more than likely will send you an invoice every year, possibly every other year. If you stop paying on your dealer surety bond, you will not have a dealer surety bond, and state law requires all dealers maintain a dealer surety bond. So you would not be able to have a license unless you constantly maintain your $25,000 dealer surety bond. Failing to maintain a net worth of at least $75,000. So remember, the business has to have a net worth of $75,000. You can never let the business net worth drop below that. Here's one. Fails to maintain financial responsibility on all service vehicles or vehicles held for resale. So we're going to talk about insurance on your inventory here in just a little bit. There are also some reasons that the state might deny your initial dealer license application, such as if you made false statements on your dealer license application. If you lie on your dealer application, you could actually be charged with a misdemeanor. Or if you've continuously defaulted on financial obligations, the state wants dealers to be financially secure. They don't want to give a dealer's license if someone's had a couple of homes foreclosed, cars repossessed, and things like that. They want you to be financially secure, and they do not want you to have defaulted on several financial obligations. If you don't have a net worth of at least $75,000, so they would not give you that dealer's license. If you committed certain felonies, or if you commit fraudulent acts that involve motor vehicles, or if you've had a dealer's license denied in the last 12 months, the state's not just going to turn right around and reissue you a license. If you don't have an established place of business, or the phone, or your display lot, or if your business is not physically separated from another business. So, if you're following along your manual, I want you to read several cases with me here in which dealers had their licenses suspended. And, you can read these cases right on the dealer licensing section website because they are open records available to the general public. So here's some. Let's take a look at these right through your manual here. Display lot, not clear of grass and weeds, no licensed salesperson, no working phone line, not maintaining proper records. So there was a license case that was suspended in Akron. Okay, so these are actual cases where dealers lost their license because they weren't complying with state law. Here's one. Location is not physically separate from the owner's residence, not properly attended during business hours, unable to inspect office, business hours not posted. So remember, you have to post your hours, and you have to staff the dealership during your posted hours. Look at this one. Post licensure, the inspection that came after the license was issued. Office was littered with bugs. No hours were posted. Dealer's license was not posted. The sign was not at least 6 inches. No separation from a business, and that was in Bowling Green. Here's one. Failure to maintain mileage disclosure statements and attempted failure to maintain agreements to proceed the sale. That's your written contract, and we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. That happened in Cleveland. Now take a look at this one. Office display not clear of mud and weeds. Display area not clear of mud, water, weeds, not physically separated from another business. Office being used for storage of tires. No posted hours. Telephone not identified with dealership name. Remember, no matter what phone you're using as your official dealership phone, you have to answer that phone in the dealership name. No licensed salesperson, no permanent heat source. Remember, we have to have a permanent heat source. license was not displayed, location was not being used exclusively, not maintaining proper records or odometer disclosure statements. That happened in Columbus. So look at that case. I mean, everything that I'm saying don't do, they were doing. So it's no wonder that that dealer in Columbus actually lost their license. Here's another one. Display area not clear of grass and weeds. We've got to keep our display areas clear of grass and weeds. Office was not accessible. No posted hours. No working phone. No licensed salesperson. That happened in Youngstown. Not physically separated from another business. No working telephone. Unattended during business hours. Office was not at least 180 square feet, and that happened in Columbus. Here's another one. No working phone line, not separated from another business. Mud on the display lot. Office is not 180 square feet. There's another one that was in Columbus. You know, it really is easy to maintain compliance with your new business, and maintaining compliance will allow you to keep this dealer's license for many, many years. We just have to follow a few sets of rules, laws, and guidelines. So do please keep that in mind. Let's talk about your mandatory insurance requirement. The state of Ohio requires every vehicle being driven on every roadway to have insurance, including the vehicles that your customers are test driving. I want to repeat that. The state of Ohio requires every vehicle being driven on any roadway to have insurance. It is actually illegal to drive any motor vehicle in Ohio without proof of insurance or some type of financial responsibility. It is also illegal for any motor vehicle dealer owner, such as you, to allow someone to drive your demos without insurance. So if you ever let someone drive your demos without insurance, you are in violation of the law. So before you purchase any inventory to resell, you're going to have to obtain a dealer insurance policy. Now, dealer insurance is a special type of business insurance, and it's quite unique that it covers you when your customers are test driving your vehicles. It's going to cover you or an employee when you're driving vehicles back and forth from a dealer auction. It's also going to cover you if someone breaks their leg on your lot. So it has medical coverage built into it as well. And you'll find that it is very protective of you, the dealer. Many insurance agents do not sell dealer insurance. And so you might call your insurance agent only to find out that they do not carry insurance. And then, so what's going to happen there is you're going to have to contact an insurance agency that carries commercial insurance, an agent that basically specializes in commercial policies. Be sure they can explain the type of coverage that would be best for your dealership. So do please keep that in mind. Among the agents that do sell dealer insurance, I have found a dramatic variation in policy pricing. And over the years, I've made several calls to get dealer insurance quotes, and I always find a huge variation in dealer insurance policy pricing. So you might have one agent on one side of the street that's asking $1,200 a year for a policy, and then the insurance agent right across the street from her is asking $5,000 for the identical coverage. It is imperative that you get multiple quotes. Even if your favorite insurance agent can sell you a dealer policy, you might be able to find a cheaper policy by doing an internet research online, which I'll show you how to do here in just a moment. But you'll need to be aware there are normally 4 factors that will determine the price of your dealer's insurance. The first factor is your driving record. If you have a great driving record, you will always pay cheaper rates than someone that has several marks on their driver's license. Your insurance agent will ask for the driving record of each employee that's going to be driving your demos. Be aware that some insurance agents will not allow anyone with a past DUI to be on a dealer insurance policy, so you definitely need to be aware of that. The second factor is going to be your dealership ownership experience. And there tends to be an experience plateau of 3 years in the industry. When you get licensed for the first time, you will always pay the very highest rates for your dealer insurance. But once you have about 3 years of experience under your belt, you should either see a dramatic reduction in your dealer's insurance pricing. And if you don't, then you need to get another quote with another insurance company after you have 3 years of experience. And so you should always expect to pay the highest rates with 3 years or less of dealership ownership experience, and the lower rates with more than 3 years of experience. The third factor is going to be the geographic area of your dealership. Where your dealership is located always affects the price of your dealer insurance. And the closer you are to a metropolitan core, such as, downtown Cleveland or Columbus or Cincinnati, the higher your rates will be. So if your dealership is located in a rural area of the state, you will probably pay the lowest rates. The rates are also based on a history of insurance payouts in your area. So I'm aware of huge rate increases after like a bad storm or tornado hits an area. Civil unrest in an area can also raise your insurance rates the following year. One of the final factors in the number of dealer license plates that you possess. Your dealer insurance agent will always want to know the number of dealer license plates that you have every year. And the BMV does limit the number of dealer plates that you have depending on the previous year's sales. And I will explain that a little further later on in the course when we cover dealer license plates. But the BMV will allow you to apply for less dealer plates than what you actually qualify for. And this could dramatically lower your insurance rates. So dealer insurance can be quite expensive. However, once you become established and begin generating profits, you're going to find out that dealer insurance is only a small part of your operational expenses. So I want you to be aware there are 7 different types of dealer insurance that I'm going to cover with you here. And some of these might apply to your dealership and some of them won't, but I do want to cover each one of them extensively, okay? Let's first start with dealer liability, or sometimes we just call it garage liability. Your insurance may just call it garage coverage, even if you don't have a garage at your dealership. Dealer liability is just like liability on your own vehicle. So if your customer wrecks a demo into another vehicle, it's going to cover the other vehicle, but it won't cover your demo because it's liability only. So dealer liability will never cover the dealer's property. So realize that you do have an element of risk because your insurance will not cover any property losses. And, I have spoken to more than one dealer that had a significant investment in their inventory only to see it wiped out due to a storm or tornado. So don't ever let this business, put you into financial ruin, because you do need to have enough insurance coverage on your inventory. So next, let's talk about dealer's open lot. You might think of dealer's open lot as full coverage insurance on your inventory, although we do not refer to it as full coverage. We refer to it as dealer's open lot coverage. And dealer's open lot does not cover a specific amount of vehicles on your lot. It covers a dollar amount. So let's just say, for example, you have $50,000 worth of inventory on your lot. You need $50,000 worth of open lot coverage because the state of Ohio has tornadoes. Ohio has floods, and I read of another dealership in another state that was hit by a tornado and had over 700 vehicles that were destroyed in the course of about 3 minutes. You might remember a couple of years ago when Hurricane Harvey hit the Gulf Coast of Texas, it flooded Houston, and over 1 million vehicles in Houston sat underneath water for about 2 days. And, if you can ever imagine throwing a computer into a bathtub for 2 days and expect it to work properly afterwards, well, there's basically no difference with a flooded motor vehicle. We also need to be concerned about theft as well. And I've read articles covering dealers that have had their entire inventory stolen overnight. So if you ever showed up to your dealership only to find out your entire inventory gone, well, you wouldn't be the first dealer that has happened to. So, I've seen multiple dealers go into financial ruin because they did not have enough coverage on their inventory. So open lot will cover your inventory if your vehicles are damaged by wind, natural disaster, and sometimes it'll also cover you in cases of theft and hail. So make sure that you have enough coverage on your inventory so you never go into financial ruin. Let's go over Garage Keepers. Garage Keepers covers the vehicles that are owned by a customer that's left with you for repair. So if you repair vehicles for your customers, Garage Keepers insurance would cover you if something happened to the customer's vehicle while it was in your possession. So sometimes it'll cover tools that are stolen and things like that. So if you do keep a garage for repairs, you need Garage Keepers insurance. Now we're going to cover a very important type of dealer insurance, which we'll refer to as errors and omissions. Errors and omissions covers a dealer that failed to comply with the Federal Truth in Lending Act and failure to display FTC buyer's guides, which we'll cover here in just a little while, or made an error in paperwork submitted to the MVD. So it can be very great to cover you, and it does cover you if you fail to perform a title search or something like that. And I'm going to show you how to perform title searches and things like that here in just a little while. Another type of coverage you might want to be aware of is known as employment practices liability. This provides coverage against, sexual harassment lawsuits, wrongful termination of an employee, wage payment disputes, deprivation of career opportunities, and things like that. And, there are many anti-business attorneys that love to file lawsuits against dealers. So be aware that employment practices liability is something that you should definitely talk to your insurance agent about. Workers' compensation. Workers' compensation provides coverage in case of workplace injury to an employee. So workers' comp laws provide specific benefits to workers who suffer workplace injury or illness. So those benefits can include, expenses, death benefits, lost wages. Ohio state law requires that if you have one or more employees, you must have a workers' compensation policy. So the state requires every employee that is covered, even if you have only one employee. So failure to carry workers' compensation insurance or otherwise meet the state's regulations in this regard can leave you exposed not only to paying these benefits out of pocket, but also paying penalties that could be levied by the state. Penalties for non-coverage can be quite severe, so you definitely want to talk to your insurance agent about workers' compensation if you have one or more employees. False pretense. False pretense insurance, a lot of dealers confuse false pretense insurance with errors and omissions insurance, and the two types of coverages are quite different in nature. False pretense insurance covers a dealer, say for example, that purchases a vehicle from someone that didn't have the legal selling rights, and also covers when a person purchases a vehicle from a dealer in a fraudulent manner, such as, using a stolen ID. So that's something your insurance agent will be able to explain to you as well. So what are the penalties for non-coverage? Any dealer in the state that does not maintain financial responsibility on service vehicles or drives a demo or allows a customer to drive a demo without financial responsibility could face severe penalties. So, make sure you have financial responsibility on all service vehicles and all vehicles that you hold for resale. So where do we find dealer insurance? Well, you're not going to find a dealer insurance policy at Progressive. Progressive doesn't sell dealer's insurance. You're not going to go log on to Geico to get a quote, and you're not going to get a quote from your State Farm or American Family insurance agent either, because these companies do not sell dealer's insurance. So where do you find insurance that covers dealers? You might first check with your own insurance agent, but more than likely your insurance agent will not be able to get you a reasonable quote. Maybe they can, but they might tell you they'll see what they can come up with and then give you a quote that is much higher than the same coverage with insurance agents that tend to write a lot of policies, on a regular basis. So, the insurance agent that writes multiple dealer policies a day will probably be able to find you cheaper coverage. You might ask other dealers who they are using for insurance. In fact, if you have an insurance company, you could certainly email that to us, and, we'll shoot that out to other dealers that might be interested in taking the course. But, one thing you can also do, you can do a quick internet search like this. Just go to your favorite search engine. For example, this one's Google, and you can just type in Ohio dealer insurance, and there you can see right there on the front page, there are going to be a lot of insurance companies that want to earn your business and sell you a dealer insurance policy.